Picture yourself standing in the temple courts of Jerusalem, approximately 30 A.D. Jesus is teaching to a crowd of thousands, but his eyes keep returning to a small group at the edge. After the public teaching ends, he gestures to them. Follow me. They walk to a private room, and what he tells them there will never be recorded in the canonical Gospels. He explains why most prayers go unanswered, why most people live and die without ever experiencing the fullness he promised. And he identifies one word, spoken multiple times every single day by nearly everyone, that creates an invisible barrier between the human soul and the flow of divine abundance. The disciples who heard this teaching were sworn to secrecy, not because the knowledge was forbidden, but because those who control religious power knew exactly what would happen if ordinary people discovered this truth. They would become ungovernable. They would stop begging. They would stop tithing out of fear. They would recognize their own authority, and the entire system of spiritual control would collapse overnight. 2,000 years later, you are reading these words, and if you feel a quickening in your chest right now, a sudden alertness, that is not accident. That is recognition. Subscribe and stay until the end, because the word I am about to reveal is almost certainly in your vocabulary. You have probably spoken it today already, and tonight, you're going to understand exactly why it has been sabotaging every blessing trying to reach you. Right now, take a breath, a deep one. Fill your lungs completely, then release it all. Feel your body settle. What you are about to learn is not philosophy. It is not religious theory. It is operational knowledge about how manifestation actually works and why one single word disrupts the entire process. The word is not a curse word. It is not blasphemy. In fact, it sounds humble. It sounds spiritual. Religious people use it constantly, thinking they are demonstrating faith. But in the hidden teachings, the ones that were buried in caves and sealed in jars because the early church could not allow them to spread, Jesus explains that this word does not demonstrate faith. It demonstrates the opposite. It demonstrates a consciousness of separation, of lack, of disconnection from source. And the moment that word leaves your mouth, you energetically announce to the universe that you are a beggar, not an heir. The word is need. I need money. I need healing. I need help. I need a breakthrough. I need God to show up. Every single time you speak that word in relation to your blessings, you activate what the ancient mystics called the frequency of absence. You are not describing reality. You are creating it. Let me take you deeper, because this is where everything you were taught about prayer, about faith, about asking God for things, gets turned completely inside out. In the Gospel of Thomas, one of the most controversial texts ever discovered, saying 113 records something that makes modern Christians deeply uncomfortable. The disciples asked Jesus, "When will the kingdom come?" And Jesus replies, "It will not come by waiting for it. It will not be a matter of saying, 'Here it is,' or 'There it is.' Rather, the kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, and people do not see it." Read that again slowly. The kingdom is already spread out upon the earth, not coming, not distant, not waiting for you to be good enough or pray hard enough. Already here, already present, already available. So, why do most people never experience it? Because they are looking for it in the wrong way. They are using the wrong language. They are speaking from the wrong consciousness. When you say, "I need," you are announcing to every atom of your being, to every frequency in the field around you, that you are separate from what you desire, that it exists somewhere else, in some other time, in some other condition. And the universe, which is not a moral judge but a mirror, reflects that separation right back to you. You do not get what you want. You get what you are. And if what you are is someone in need, someone in lack, someone in desperation, then lack and desperation are what you will continue to experience no matter how much you pray, no matter how much you beg, no matter how many altars you cry at. This is not punishment. This is physics, spiritual physics, but physics nonetheless. Now, let me show you what they buried in the Nag Hammadi library. Specifically in the text called the Tripartite Tractate, there's a passage that describes 3 types of humans and their relationship to the divine source. The first type, the material beings, do not even know the source exists. They live entirely in survival mode. The second type, the psychic beings, believe in the source but see it as separate, distant, something external that must be petitioned, pleased, and appeased. These are your religious people. Church every Sunday, prayers every night, but always coming from a posture of separation. God is up there. I am down here. I need him to bridge the gap. But the third type, the pneumatic beings, the chosen ones, operate from a completely different framework. They do not see the source as separate. They recognize themselves as expressions of it, not metaphorically, literally. The same consciousness that sources all creation is the consciousness looking through your eyes right now. When you speak from this understanding, you do not say I need. You cannot say I need because how can the source need anything? How can the infinite lack anything? How can the creator of all things be separate from any part of creation? This is what Jesus was trying to explain to those disciples in that private room. You are not beggars petitioning a distant king. You are sons and daughters speaking as heirs. The inheritance is not something you earn. It is something you claim by recognizing what you already are. But the word need keeps you locked in the beggar consciousness. It keeps you on your knees when you were meant to stand. It keeps you asking when you were meant to be. Declaring, let me make this practical, because if this stays theoretical, nothing changes. Every time you have spoken the word need in relation to your blessings, here is what happened energetically. Your words went out as vibration. Not just sound vibration, but emotional and mental vibration. That vibration carried a signature, a frequency tag that said lack, absence, separation. The field around you, the quantum field that physicists now confirm is responsive to consciousness, received that signal and began organizing reality to match it, not because it is punishing you, but because it is designed to reflect your inner state. You keep experiencing lack not because blessings are being withheld, but because you keep broadcasting lack. You keep experiencing closed doors not because you're a curse, but because your words keep telling the universe you are someone outside looking in. This is why people can pray for decades and see nothing change. They are praying from need. They are affirming separation with every word. And the universe, in perfect faithfulness, keeps showing them exactly what they are declaring themselves to be. Now here is where it gets even more concealed. The religious system you were raised in, whether Christian, Muslim, Jewish, or any other tradition, has a vested interest in keeping you in need consciousness. Think about it. A person who knows they are an expression of source does not need a priest. They do not need an institution. They do not need someone else to tell them what God thinks or wants. They access that knowing directly. But a person who believes they are fundamentally separated from God, fundamentally in need, will spend their entire life dependent on the system. They will tithe. They will obey. They will defer to authority. They will never question because they believe they have no direct access. This is not conspiracy. This is historical fact. When the early church councils decided which text would be scripture and which would be heresy, the primary criterion was control. Any teaching that empowered individuals to access source directly was labeled Gnostic, heretical, dangerous. Any teaching that maintained the necessity of institutional mediation was canonized and spread throughout the empire. The Gospel of John barely made it, and because it contained statements like, I and the Father are one, and you will do greater works than these. Those statements suggest that ordinary humans can access the same consciousness Jesus did. That was dangerous. That was threatening. But they could not remove John entirely because too many communities were already using it. So they reinterpreted it. They taught you that Jesus was uniquely divine in a way you could never be. They taught you that his statements applied only to him. They taught you to stay in need, to stay in lack, to stay dependent. And they gave you prayer language that reinforces separation. Our Father who art in heaven. Already the language places God at a distance. Somewhere else. Up there. Not here. Not in you. Give us this day our daily bread. The language of petition. The language of need. I am not saying this prayer is wrong. I am saying the consciousness behind how most people pray, it keeps them locked in the very separation they are trying to overcome. If you feel resistance rising in you right now, if thoughts are appearing that say this is heresy, this is blasphemy, pay attention to where that resistance is coming from. Is it coming from your direct knowing, or is it coming from programming? Is it your spirit reacting? Or is it the religious software installed in you before you even think for yourself? The truth does not need defense. It does not need institutions to protect it. It is self-evident to those who are ready to see. And if you are still reading, something in you is ready. Place your hand over your heart right now. Feel it beating. That rhythm is not being created by you. It is being created through you. You do not wake up every morning and decide to make your heart beat. You do not consciously operate your lungs, your digestion, your cellular repair. Something is doing all of that through you. The same intelligence that spins galaxies and orchestrates the migration of birds is operating your body right now without any effort from your conscious mind. You are not separate from that intelligence. You are an expression of it. And when you recognize that, when you feel it not as a concept but as a reality, the word need becomes impossible to speak. Here is the shift Jesus taught. Instead of praying from need, you declare from knowing. Instead of saying, I need money, you say abundance flows through me now, not as a future hope, as a present reality. You are not lying. You are not pretending. You are speaking from the consciousness that knows all resources originate from the same source that is expressing itself as you right now. Instead of saying, I need healing, you say, wholeness is my nature. Again, not as wishful thinking, but as recognition of what is true at the deepest level. Your body is designed to heal. Every cut that closes, every bone that mends, every infection your immune system defeats, proves that healing is your default state. Disease is the interruption. Health is the truth. Instead of saying, I need a breakthrough, you say breakthrough is happening now. Not because you are forcing it, but because you recognize that the same creative force that brought you to this moment is already orchestrating the next moment. Your job is not to beg for it. Your job is to align with it. Let me give you the practice exactly as it was preserved in the hidden teachings. Step 1. Recognition. Before you speak anything into the field, you must establish your true identity. Not your social identity, not your role, not your job or your history. Your pneumatic identity. You are not a body hoping for a soul. You are consciousness temporarily focused through a body. You are not a beggar hoping God notices you. You are source expressing itself in this unique form. Recognition is not something you think. It is something you drop into. You stop trying. You stop straining. You breathe, and you remember. Step 2. Cancellation. This step is not optional. You must consciously cancel the years of need-based prayer that have been programming your field. You do not do this with shame. You do this with clarity. You say out loud, every word I have spoken from lack, from need, from separation, I now cancel and revoke. I recall that energy. Those declarations no longer represent me. This is not magic language. This is energetic housekeeping. You are clearing the signal so the new frequency can establish. Step 3. Declaration. This is where everything shifts. You speak not to God, but as the presence of God focused through your human form. You do not say, I need money. You say, infinite abundance expresses through me now. Feel the difference. One is begging. One is stating reality. You do not say, I need healing. You say, divine wholeness restores every cell of my body now. You do not say, I need favor. You say, I am the presence of favor wherever I go. These are not affirmations. Affirmations are repetitions designed to convince you of something you do not believe. Declarations are statements of what you know to be true at the level of source, even if the material world has not caught up yet. Step 4. Receiving. This is where most people fail. They do the inner work, they shift the language, but then they keep looking at their current circumstances and panicking. The money has not shown up yet. The healing has not manifested yet. The door has not opened yet. And in that panic, they slip right back into need consciousness. Receiving requires that you hold the inner knowing even when outer conditions have not shifted. You do not need to see it to know it is done. You know it is done, and then you see it. This is what Jesus meant when he said, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. Present tense. Already done. Not waiting for God to decide. Not hoping you were good enough. Already received in the realm of consciousness. Now materializing in the realm of form. Let me be very clear. The moment you remove that word from your vocabulary, everything changes. Your thoughts begin to rearrange themselves. Your internal dialogue, which has been a constant stream of limitation, starts to align with possibility. You no longer say, I need this. I need that. Instead, you speak from knowing, I am provisioned. I am abundant. I am sufficient. And the energy behind those words is not abstract. It is real. It vibrates. It moves through every cell of your body. It reorganizes the energy around you. It rewrites the story that has been playing since childhood. The story that said you are separate, insufficient, dependent. That story dissolves. That word loses its power. Expect discomfort, not as punishment, but as a sign that you are doing it correctly. Your mind will fight. Your old programs will rise in defense, whispering that this is arrogance, that this is pride, that you are stepping outside your place. Listen to the voice, but do not obey it. It is only a ghost, a habit of thought. Observe it, and let your actions speak louder. Continue to declare your abundance. Continue to speak from the frequency of knowing. That is how you override the program. That is how you create a new identity, a new life. The people around you will notice. They may frown. They may question. They may even criticize. Some will feel a subtle threat because their own consciousness has not yet shifted. They will call you delusional. They will say you have changed, and you have. But this is not about seeking approval. This is about aligning with truth. This is about embodying a frequency so powerful that it changes reality. The discomfort of others is not your concern. Their resistance is their mirror. Stay in your decoration. Speak your truth. Walk in your knowing. Generosity, kindness, and abundance will continue to flow from you, whether they understand or not. And synchronicity, synchronicity becomes undeniable. Within days, you will notice that the universe begins to respond differently. Meetings that once required force or strategy now arrive effortlessly. The right people enter your life. The right information comes at precisely the right moment. Opportunities appear when you are ready to receive them. This is not coincidence. It is alignment. The universe does not owe you anything, but it cannot help but respond when you operate from a frequency of sufficiency. You are now a magnet. The field knows you. The flow begins to accelerate. The blocked blessings begin to move. That stalled contract, that delayed promotion, that relationship in limbo, all of it begins to shift. Not because God finally decided you are worthy, but because you stop resisting with your language. You stop signaling scarcity, fear, and lack. You no longer broadcast a signal that says, I am insufficient. You now broadcast a signal of knowing, I am abundant. I am enough. That signal is irresistible to the energy of provision. And when the energy moves, everything else aligns. Understand this deeply. It is not the word itself that is evil. It is the consciousness behind it. That word carries the weight of centuries of programming, the belief in separation, the constant cry of I do not have enough. Every time you speak it, you reinforce the old frequency. Every time you declare abundance instead, you activate the new. And the more consistently you do this, the more the old frequency loses its grip. Soon, it becomes alien to you. Soon, you no longer remember how it felt to operate from lack. You live only from knowing. Jesus taught this not as theory, but as living reality. He walked in provision, in sufficiency, in miracles, not because he begged, not because he lacked, but because he embodied the consciousness of the infinite in human form. He declared the presence of Source within him. And so can you. You are not who tradition told you that you are. You are not limited by the rules of scarcity. You are not subject to the limitations imposed by culture, upbringing, or fear. You are the presence of the infinite, now operating through a human body, now moving through time, now declaring, I am abundance. I am provision. I am enough. Speak like it. Speak as though the universe already knows you. Speak as though every blessing is already manifesting in your life. Let it move through your words, your actions, your thoughts. Let it move through your home, your family, your finances. Let the declaration become your daily habit, your default state. When you rise in the morning, speak it. When you prepare meals, speak it. When you interact with others, speak it. Every word becomes a transmitter. Every thought becomes a signal. Every action becomes a declaration of sufficiency. And do not stop there. Take it further. Let this consciousness guide your choices, your priorities, your relationships, and your work. Let abundance, not scarcity, Be the lens through which you see every situation. Watch how your perception of life shifts. The world is no longer a battlefield of lack. It is a playground of provision. Every challenge becomes a potential blessing. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity for alignment. Every delay becomes a universe arranging the perfect conditions. And yes, sometimes you'll be tested. Sometimes the old voices, the old circumstances will rise up. The grocery line will be long. The bill will be higher than expected. A loved one will resist your new way of being. That is a perfect moment to declare, I am abundance. That is the perfect moment to shift the frequency. That is the perfect moment to see with new eyes. Nothing outside of you can change your state. The power has always been within. The word you remove, the declaration you speak, the consciousness you embody, they are your keys. They unlock everything. Comment those words now. I am abundance now. Let them enter the field. Let them ripple outward to others who are ready. Let them connect you with the collective of awakened ones who have removed the word of lack and stepped into declaration consciousness. Every comment, every declaration, every acknowledgement strengthens the field. You are no longer alone. You are part of the movement. You are part of the frequency. You are part of the proof that sufficiency is not theory. It is a living reality. And remember, this is not about perfection. This is about consistency. This is about intention. The more you practice declaring, the more your life aligns. The more you embody sufficiency, the more the universe responds. The more you let go of the old word, the more the blessings flow. And in that flow, you begin to recognize the ultimate truth. Abundance is your birthright. Provision is your natural state. You were never meant to lack. You were never meant to beg. You were never meant to wait. You were always meant to declare. You were always meant to know. Go now. Speak like the infinite. Move like abundance. Live like sufficiency. Let the word of lack leave your lips forever. Let the consciousness of declaration guide you in everything. And as you do, watch. The synchronicities multiply, the blessings flow, the people align, and your life becomes a living testimony of what is possible when you stop asking and start declaring. You are the frequency. You are the source. You are abundance. Let me tell you what to expect when you remove this word from your vocabulary and shift to declaration consciousness. First, resistance. Your mind will tell you this is arrogant. This is presumptuous. Who do you think you are? That voice is not your intuition. That is the program defending itself. Observe it and continue. Second, the people around you will feel uncomfortable. When you stop complaining, stop begging, stop commiserating and lack consciousness, those who are still locked in it will not know what to do with you. They will call you delusional. They will say you have changed. You have. Let them talk. Third, synchronicity. Within days of making this shift, you will notice coincidences multiplying. The right people, the right information, the right opportunities appearing without force or effort. This is not luck. This is alignment. When your frequency shifts, what you attract shifts. Fourth, the blessings that were blocked start moving. That contract that stalled suddenly closes. That healing that plateaued suddenly accelerates. That relationship that was stuck suddenly shifts. Not because God finally decided to bless you, but because you finally stopped blocking the flow of the language of lack. If this has activated something in you, comment the words, I am abundance now. Now I need abundance. I am abundance. Let that declaration go into the field. Let other chosen ones see it and recognize they are not alone. Subscribe to this channel because the teachings that are coming go even deeper than what you received tonight, like this video, so it reaches others who are ready. One word has been sabotaging your blessings your entire life. Not because the word is evil, but because the consciousness behind it creates separation. Tonight, you stop saying it. Tonight, you shift from need to knowing, from begging to declaring, from separation to source. You are not who religion told you that you are. You are what Jesus demonstrated, the presence of the infinite in human form. Now speak like it.